The elite and officials lead an aimless existence. The workers are exploited in the central region, and the outer region is hell on earth. Outside the city, zombies are everywhere, and this is a city of sin in the middle of a storm. Everyone who lives here is unworthy of salvation. Liu Feng understood before that this city is not simple, but now his understanding of this city has become even clearer. Kelly whispered that this woman doctor has value. Qinmu finished her coffee and said that it was time for her to go. Approaching Liu Feng, she said that he had recently spent a lot of energy, because when she fell on top of him, she noticed that he was devastated, and she told him not to forget to restore his strength. When leaving, she took one canned food with her, saying that this canned food would be payment for the reception. Qinmu also left her business card, saying that if they needed it, they could find it at the clinic. Taking her business card, Beek-en saw that she was indeed Qinmu's doctor at the clinic. Her specialty was the treatment of bruises and wounds, as well as the rampage of a mutated gene. In the evening, Liu Feng went out for a walk around the area. He saw so many girls there who offered him the whole night for just one bun, saying that they were once stars, and children who were always running around and begging for anything edible. Liu Feng would like to help them, but he knew that at the moment he could not afford to give some of the food to others. It was disgusting and cruel to him. He was sending this post-apocalypse world to hell. This world was too vile. He also saw people who wore robes with crosses on their shoulders, arms, and other parts of their clothing. She distributed food to those who asked, saying that God said, and God loves people. They said that you need to believe in the light. But one of the beggars urged the others not to believe them, since those who went with them never returned. Liu Feng knew that none of this mattered. He needed to focus on the task at hand. First, you need to go to the Mutant Association, and then go to the slave market and buy Luda. But he remembered that Kelly had said that if they bought Lud, their food supplies would not last long and they would need to find more supplies. With each new mission, Liu Feng realized that being in charge was not easy. When suddenly Huang Bin noticed him and called him over. Huang Bing took Liu Feng to the Mutant Association, saying that today there is a vice president here, and she will be his inspector. Entering the building, Liu Feng saw a huge map on the wall, which showed the places of zombie infestation, as well as the zombie leaders. There were many people with weapons in the building, and they all possessed some kind of power. Huang Bin said that the vice president was waiting for them on the second floor. Passing by the tables, Liu Feng felt danger when he saw one of the men burn the table in half with just one touch of his hand. Liu Feng was shocked to see how that boy turned into some kind of red, angry mutant. Huang Bing was scared because he knew that this was a problem, because it was a mutant with a rampant gene. To their general happiness, a girl in a samurai hat appeared, and with just one blow knocked the red mutant to the ground and neutralized him. Seeing her, Liu Feng realized that this woman was not at all simple. She asked Liu Feng who he was and what he was doing in the Mutant Association. This girl's name was Kawase Suena. She was the vice president of the Mutant Association. She was level S secret mutation level. She ordered Liu Feng to take his sword and asked who he was again. Huang Bing ran out from behind Liu Feng and told the vice president that it was him. Didn't she recognize him? Then he said that he had brought the new mutant that he had told her about and pointed to Liu Feng. Recognizing Huang Bin, Kawase Suena told them to go up to the second floor for testing and follow her. While going to the test, Liu Feng asked Huang Bing what just happened to that person. After all, he seemed to have gone mad. Huang Bing replied that some mutants have little control over their own powers. They can easily go on a rampage. In this state, they become insensitive, driven only by the thirst for destruction. In severe cases, they can even mutate completely. That's why the association needs a high-level mutant manager to be present. Liu Feng realized that these symptoms were similar to those of his sister. Kawase Suen said that they had already arrived. Arriving at the testing hall, Kawase Suen asked Liu Feng to demonstrate his abilities. He agreed, but decided to show only part of his abilities and hide the main power. Approaching the weapon table, he picked up the sword and said that his strength was mainly directed at the weapon. He could repair it or strengthen it. After which he decided to show by example what he could do and began transforming the sword. After the transformation, he said that there were some changes in the shape, as well as the addition of ignition. The sharpness has also increased. The fire will make it easier to cut flesh. It can be said that this is a special bloody attack. Huang Bin couldn't contain his emotions and said that this is very cool. Kawase Suen was also very surprised because she had not seen anyone who could apply buffs to weapons for a long time. Kawase Suen said that this is an amazing ability to improve weapons because it is very rare and in high demand everywhere. Rumor has it that the military has several people with this ability in its research institutes. After which, she knelt down and took out her sword, asking Liu Feng to restore it. Having said that this is her favorite sword named Zhuelunwan. This is her family's sword. It has been with her since childhood. But unfortunately it broke while she was cutting down a mutant zombie. She would really appreciate it if he could subdue it for her. Liu Fen asked the vice president to get up from his knees and said that he was also a ball lover, and he said that he would be happy to fulfill this small favor. Then he began transforming her sword. Literally a moment later he restored her sword, and sharpened it a little more, thanks to which this sword became capable of cutting through gold and crushing steel. Kawase Suen bowed to Liu Feng, saying that he is the best swordsmith because she can now hear the joyful sound of her sword, Zhuelunwan. Kawase Suen also said that his rating is a level A mutant, and he can become a full member of the association if he completes one more task. After he completes the task, she will give him a gift. Huang Bin said that Liu Feng is very cool, strong. He has just started and is already level A. He also said that, in addition, Liu Feng has won the favor of the vice president. Now no one will dare to lay a finger on him, and he asked that he take him under his wing. Huang Bin also said that in this city there are only 3 SS-level mutants. This is the president, and 1 each from the military and research institute. In addition, including the vice president of the academy, there are 2 S-tier mutants. After which he told Liu Feng that he had just joined and had already achieved level A, he would have unlimited opportunities in the future. Liu Feng understood that by using only part of his strength, he was able to achieve level A. The forging ability would bring him even more points. It seemed like his powers were actually close to SS level. Meanwhile, the vice president brought Liu Feng to the reception and asked him to go through a couple of formalities here to receive the task. The people in the room at that moment could not believe their eyes and wondered who he was and why the vice president herself was accompanying him. Liu Feng was greeted by the girl at the reception, saying that he had passed the tests, and now he only had 1 task left to complete, and he would become a full member of the association. He took a tablet on which 3 tasks were written. The first task of level A, to find Dr. Li, was given a house in the central region as a reward. The second task was level D, to explore Xinyanzhen. For completing this task, the reward was 2 magazines, 10 canned goods, and 5 kilograms of rice. Liu Feng said that he chooses the second option. But he chose this option not for the rewards, but for the fact that the K3 Institute Kane was talking about was located in Xinyanzhen, and Liu Feng wanted to find it. Huang Bin began to dissuade him, asking him to choose another task, saying that he is in the rear, and why even leave the city and expose yourself to such danger. Meanwhile, the vice president asked the girl at the reception, "Why not here?" To which she replied that Dr. Chin was a little late. Just a couple of minutes later, Dr. Chin appeared at the door and hurriedly asked where the patient was now. After listening to the heartbeat and measuring the pulse, she selected the medicine and injected it directly into the vein of the unstable patient. Literally a couple of seconds after this, the patient fell asleep, and the doctor realized that he had stabilized. Seeing such a quick effect, Liu Feng realized that Dr. Chin had a serum that suppressed the mutated gene. Seeing the vice president, Dr. Chin immediately billed her for saving her life, medicine, travel, work, overtime, and mental suffering. Liu Feng thought it was very expensive, and he had no time for it now. After all, he wanted to know about the serum. Liu Feng approached Dr. Chin and told her that his sister had similar symptoms. Could the serum help her? She answered him that if he was talking about rampant mutant fever, then he should come to her clinic, and there they would talk about it. Of course, he will have to pay for the reception. First they went to the market. Dr. Chin decided to stock up on groceries. She even managed to quarrel with the seller, saying that his canned goods seemed to be made of gold. to which he answered her that where had she seen canned food cheaper, because in modern times everything is only becoming more expensive. After walking several blocks, they finally came to the hospital, although in appearance it resembled a strip club. Dr. Chin made herself comfortable in her favorite chair and told Liu Feng to tell him what was bothering him. Liu Feng began to talk about how his sister had a special situation. Her process of turning into a mutant zombie was interrupted, and now he is not in the best condition. "Will your vaccine be effective for her?" he asked Dr. Chin. Hearing about the interrupted transformation process, Dr. Chin asked him to quickly show his sister. But Liu Feng said that his sister was out of town now and he would bring her next time. Dr. Chin said that her serum was most likely useless for his sister. She could develop inhibitors for her. But for this, you need to see your sister. Liu Feng said that he had an assignment from the Mutant Association. Tomorrow he needs to go explore Xinyanzhen, and the day after tomorrow he will take her to his sister. Having heard about this city, Dr. Chin said that they might see each other even sooner. Dr. Chin also told him that if he gave her 5 canned foods, she would go with him. Liu Feng thought that she was a very greedy woman. Suddenly, hungry and homeless children came into the room with empty plates for food. Seeing Liu Feng, they apologized to Dr. Chin and said that they were very hungry so they couldn't wait. Dr. Chin said that there was nothing wrong with it and began to distribute food to the children, giving each one a loaf of bread and a loaf of bread for now, saying that she had earned enough food today. After that, she sent the children home with the words that they should eat themselves and share with their parents. Liu Feng couldn't believe it, and he didn't understand why she was so greedy for the sake of the orphans. Dr. Chin saw the question in Liu Feng's eyes and decided to tell him why she was doing this. She said that shortly after the construction of the northern base, she betrayed one person and was severely beaten. Her body was dumped in an outer area dump. Ordinary people would have taken her clothes and sold her body to a black market butcher shop, but these children saved her. They had very little food, but they gave it to her so she could survive. At that moment, Dr. Chin realized that for their sake, she would continue to live and would not give up so easily. After finishing her story, she said that these children are a ray of light in this gloomy city. Meanwhile, outside the clinic, the children were having fun and rejoicing, thanking Dr. Chin that they would have food today. Suddenly, someone bad appeared and trampled their canned food. These were robbers who wanted to extract debts from Dr. Chin. She looked out the window and realized that things were bad. Apparently, one of their pawns saw her buying groceries. Liu Feng asked Dr. Chin if he could help her. She answered that no, even if he couldn't handle them, and she didn't want to harm him, because they were the largest of the local gangs. She said that they were controlled by the second leader of the gang of light-bringing dragons, the invincible D-level mutant Shu Ju, which, if she does not repay the debt, will kill these children one by one. Hearing about Shu Ju, Liu Feng felt happy and funny, because just a day ago he defeated him and took his hand from him. The Fierce Tiger Martial Arts School had many high-level masters even before the end of the world. All the men of this school are as brave as tigers. About a real match, you always face setbacks along the way. By that time, Shu Ju had already recovered from that damn burst. Of course, there were many who remembered him the moment when he shit himself during the fight, but Shu Ju shut everyone's mouths saying that it was just a mistake. He was very angry because Liu Feng not only made him a laughingstock, but also stole his hand. Shu Ju promised himself that if he met him again, he would shove his head into his ass. Liu Feng left the hospital and approached Shu Ju, saying that they had met again. Shu Ju saw Liu Feng opposite him and was simply shocked. He immediately fell to his knees and began to ask for forgiveness in a trembling voice. But literally a second later, I realized that he was doing something wrong. He then jumped up and swung his mechanical hammer over Liu Feng's head, shouting that this was outrageous and no one had any right to mock him. Seeing this picture, Dr. Chin ran out of the hospital screaming for him to stop, because she had left. But Liu Feng expected an attack from Shu Jue and launched a counterattack, striking him powerfully in the chest, thereby breaking his mechanical defense. Holding Shu Jue above his head with one hand, Liu Feng told his henchmen to go back and tell the boss that there was a level A mutant here named Liu Feng, and that if anyone dares to cause trouble for Dr. Chin, He will kill everyone. Dr. Chin saw that Liu Feng was very strong, and she thought that maybe he could help her take revenge.